Hi, Desiree.
Hi, Sophie. How are
Hi.
you?
Yeah, okay, thank you. It's going fine. The winter is arriving. I can feel it getting colder. But it's good. Anyway, we'll wait a couple minutes and see who arrives. Hi, Angie.
Yeah. Do you think Nadine will be joining?
I haven't heard.
Okay.
Okay, maybe let's start. It's a very informal meeting, the Python SDK community call. I've been introducing it, but if anybody else wants to introduce and go for it, yeah, feel free. It's very informal meeting. Angie, are you able to speak today, or are you by chat today? Okay, I know you're having some sound issues, so hopefully that is looking a little bit better. Right, so I have some news to share based on where we were last week. So we have recent changes. Those of you will be aware of this. That I think we added account delete you added account delete transaction class, which lets you delete accounts. We rewrote the generate proto file into Python. And we have one outstanding issue with that, which is that on a Windows computer, it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work, I think, is because of a backslash. The forward slash gets interpreted as a backslash. But other than that, I think it's working fine. So it's just with the Windows machines. I have a pull request that should fix that. Let me link, I'll put it in the chat. So I would consider that one maybe quite important. Yeah, well aware of that, LOL. Oh, Angie, yeah, have you been trying to do that as well? I got a message on Discord telling me about that, but I wasn't aware that you were also having a go at this. So Desi, I don't know if you're able to approve the pull requests or take a look at them, but I think it's just the I hard coded a forward slash.
Yeah, I forgot that. I saw last week and I forgot. Sorry. I will check it, but I cannot I cannot check it because I don't have a Windows machine in me.
Maybe Angelina, do you think you'd be able to check it if I send you? Oh, you have the link to the PR. I've just put it in the chat, and then you just see the line of code to change.
Yeah, and can you check the PR and tell if it works for you? And if so, you can ping in the GitHub PR and we will approve it and merge it.
Yeah, that'd be so good. So Andrew says, "Yeah, I can, of course." Yeah, that'd be great. I did get the person who DM'd me to check it as well, and they say it's fine. So we have one so far, but yeah, it's a little bit of checking. And that is that I had to borrow like a friend's computer and everything to to check that one. So yeah, some more checking on that would be good. I don't know whether it's normal to do like checks on Windows versus Linux and Mac installations. So do you know about that?
No.
Yeah, because I feel like we're half going in blind, not exactly knowing what will happen to Windows with certain updates. We can of course like think ahead, like okay, it should change slashes. Don't hard code in a forward slash, that kind of thing. But I'm sure there'll be things that will be missed. Maybe one day we can think about that. So that's one of the updates. The Hiero Proto version was bumped up. Dosi, do you want to explain like the key changes that of the Proto increase?
I'm not sure. Uh, I know them. I mean, there are a lot of new fields and a lot of deprecated ones in different transactions and queries. So I'm not really sure for every change, but I can say that mm, it is better now because there are more fields and we are up to date, and that is amazing.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. Do you know how regularly like they update that? Like looks like they made some improvements as well.
I'm not really sure, but I know that recently there is a new protobuf version. Like we are on 64 and now it is 65, but I think it is okay for now to be on one version below.
Yeah, I think on the changelog we did document some of the deprecated fields because it was the yeah, you can't do some things anymore and you have to import a few things in a slightly different way. So it was the transaction body dot transaction body now should be transaction underscore pb2 dot transaction body. So those are documented in the changelog. So if anybody's reading the recording or is looking at that and they will be impacted by the next update, then the changelog will explain that. And hopefully we will get like the Windows backslash issue fixed soon. So then we will be nice and compatible. We also had a solo version update. So this was one from Alexander. Oh no, sorry, we did bumped the solo version, you did that, Dosi. And then there was an additional security update regarding the mirror nodes. So we should think about doing a version 0.15 probably quite soon. Lucy, do you know how we could initiate that?
I'm not really sure, but I could ask if it's necessary.
Yeah. Okay. And what else do we have? Oh, the unit test issues. Lucy, I think you fixed that one. So I had a DM and then they later opened up the issue. The issue is that they were trying to run the test on Windows and they were getting issues with the token relationship file. And I thought initially this was maybe the Windows thing, but actually I think it was because they were using Python 3.10 and UV was using 3.12. I don't know, Dosie, did you look more into that and try to see what was going on?
Yeah, I think the problem was that in sorry. So in the class, I used uh, a type hint that was actually a protobuf file rather than our structures, our
Yeah,
wrappers.
yeah.
So in Python 3.10, uh, the error was like enum something, and I understand it that enum cannot have external files or something like this. I mean, the
Yeah, so you just made it like 3.10 compatible and like fixed the
yeah, like there was just a bug that
yeah. Oh, you mean it
so
was also impacting like the rest of it as well? Yeah.
yeah, literally that was my mistake. I made the token relationship and I don't know why I put proto class instead of our wrapper. So
Yeah, so that's merged now, so that is working nice and smoothly. We also had a little bit more stars in the repo. So I've been keeping track because I make a couple of notes before each of these calls and I write down some key facts. So we have a little bit more stars. So if we haven't started it, Dosi or Angelina or anyone watching this call, you can just click that button and then that will be pretty nice
okay,
for
I
us.
will start it.
Yeah. So it's always the people working on it that forget to start. We also have two community calls. So we had an issue last week where we had a couple of community members that wanted some help and they weren't aware of the calls. So what you do, you go on the Linux Foundation calendar, which is inside the Hiero webpage when you go on the calendar section. And then inside that, make sure you've ticked the Hiero if it isn't already ticked. And we are in the Python SDK community call, but every 2 weeks, so in different rotations, we have the Python office hours. And so in a fortnight, we will have this call once again. So they're both on Wednesday. One is at 2 p.m. UTC, and the other one is at, can't remember, 5 p.m. UTC. So this calendar is adjusted based on where you are. So you might see a slightly different time, but that is available to you there. So I will put the link to the calendar inside the chat. Okay, and then I don't know if anybody wants to discuss anything. So those were just like the updates and reminders. But does anybody have any issues that they would like to talk about? Angie, you've gone off mute, but I don't think I can hear you. Angie, if you're trying to speak, you might have to type into the chat because I can't hear you, Dosi. Are you able
Can
to
you
hear
hear me?
Angelina? Oh, hi.
For the Windows users, just something we may want to let them know. Using Android Studio on Windows, if they're trying to do that, does not work most of the time. That is one of those things where apparently the software can't resolve the Windows path on there. So because of that, other alternatives that I've explored are Git Bash if they're able to install that on their machines or if that's pre-installed. I think most of the Windows 10 systems, if I'm correct, should have Git Bash pre-installed. If not, they can install it themselves or just let me know and I can provide another alternative if they don't have that. But that is something that I have noticed commonly for whatever reason. Android Studio seems to present that issue for a lot of Windows users. And I only mention it because the screenshot linked in this pull request seems to look very similar to Android Studio. So that was what made me think that they had might run into a few errors initially. He did say everything was fine, but this is more for like our newer people, new contributors, if they're trying to do this. It's just maybe like a heads up that we can put a note in for them or try to figure out where to add something like that. This way, when they're getting started, they don't run into so much trouble.
So is that something that we should update our documentation or we should create an issue for it, Angie?
I will do a little bit more research. I want to make sure that it's available. I know some people also run Windows 11 on their systems. So in the off chance that Windows 11 doesn't provide that alternative of Git Bash, I'll do a bit more research and see what alternatives there are for Windows 11. If I find anything new, I'll try to recommend posting it as a new issue or just simply an update to the README.
Yeah, it would be nice to one day, I suppose, have like a section for if you're using Mac or Linux, do this. If you're using Windows, do that. I don't think do we have that at the moment? I think it's just
I don't think so. I think as of right now, the way that it's documented, it's just it, it's not very, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. It's not coherent to like one system or the other. I think it's just a straight step-by-step instruction guide of getting started with the project in general.
yeah.
Let me double check. Yeah, just a general overall guide. It does seem, yeah, it seems to be more geared toward Mac OS just because of the use of brew. And then it goes on to talk about cloning the repository. So not very much here for Windows users. But again, that's something I'm working on. That is my fault. Um, I have not posted anything new, but I will get back to this and I'm still working on trying to find that alternative. There are some machines that I do know for the Windows 10 that they don't have Git Bash. So I want to put together a collection of alternatives that work on both 10 and 11. This way there aren't so many questions and there aren't as many issues with getting started. As of right now, for those who are having trouble and they're getting started, my best recommendation for them is to install Python from the website itself and then use pip to install everything needed. The only issue they may run into is just going to be with the generate proto. That's the thing that Windows for some reason cannot resolve. And that was one of the things I think you and I had struggled with because when I kept trying to do it, it wouldn't run the Git script in VS Code. It would only run it in Git Bash. Um, so because of all of those reasons, it seems a little, for lack of a better word, tiresome and a little bit tedious for those using Windows only because it's not very straightforward. So I'm going to continue working and try to develop more of a straightforward guide for them. This way it's more or less, okay, step one, start here, step two, step three, and so on and so forth. And then we can always tailor it to 10 and 11 based on our needs and specifications.
Yeah, and did you ever get closer with the UV thing as well? So
Yes, I did get
Sure.
closer with that. UV seems to work just fine. Again, as long as we're directing users to install Python from the websites directly, that seems to include everything that a Windows user would need to get started. They'll just have to ensure that they're downloading it for their specified version. But this is a link. I'll post it here in chat in case anyone's interested. It's just to the Python downloads directly. Again, this is just for Windows users, Mac users. They can use Brew. They're more than welcome to follow that same guide. I had a Mac computer, so I just went through all the steps. It worked just fine. Just Windows again, big the biggest issue, it seems, or what we're noticing, I guess. But as long as they install Python 3, the newest version, then from there they should be able to use pip to install UV, and then UV will run the UV sync command and the proto sh script. Unfortunately, it just will need to be something that may have to be done in Git Bash because Android Studio, I don't know what it is. I've done some research. Apparently, if I understand correctly, it's a way how OneDrive and the forward slashes read the files. So on most MacBooks, I think they read the backslash key, but on Windows, it doesn't, for lack of a better word, it doesn't understand how to read the paths, and because of that, it presents file issues. It makes you think that the files aren't there when, like, you'll see the files and they're right there, and if the computer keeps telling you they're not there. So to keep it short and simple, OneDrive and path resolution seem to be the biggest downfalls when it comes to people using Windows. So I'm trying to put together something comprehensive to avoid path issues, OneDrive issues, avoid the use of Android Studio, and try to use Visual Studio Code. I am trying. Unfortunately, Visual Studio Code is one of those things that do not resolve the paths. I don't know why. I am still looking into it. I haven't found anything concrete. It's just the way that it handles files inside of OneDrive. I noticed if it's in OneDrive, it tends to present users a much bigger problem versus them just having it saved locally on their computer. So I guess the biggest takeaways from this, if we can try to encourage them away from Android Studio just for the time being. If they can't and they absolutely have to, just have them reach out to me and I will help as best as I can with the use of Android Studio. But if they can, Git Bash. Git Bash seems to be the safest, easiest, most effective way to get started with this, to test everything and to avoid as many issues as our Windows users have been having already. But to wrap it up, yeah, I'm gonna put something together. It'll be quick, convenient, easy. I'll try to make it comprehensive to the README. That way it'll include both instructions for Mac and Windows users, and that way hopefully it'll decrease some of the issues that they've been having.
Thank you so much, Andy. That'd be fantastic. Sounds like you've been thinking about that and maybe, suffering firsthand, trying to work my way through all of
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah,
I appreciate
suffering.
that.
Suffering is such an interesting word, dealing with
Yeah.
their Windows machines, they give you a run for your money. I will tell you that they
Yeah,
work
especially if you're
great. They
coding or
just,
something.
yeah, they're just a little complex to work with, but if I feel like I've learned a whole bunch from all the issues that we've encountered, so there's that. But yeah, everything should be pretty much good to go for them as long as they're using the Python installer from the website directly. It's that big yellow button says download Python 3. As long as they do that, they follow all the installs instructions from there, they shouldn't have any other issues regarding UV and pip. I think most of the packages from Python 3 are actually bundled together, and I think that does include pip, and I think a UV dependency, if I read that correctly, but I'll go back and read that. I think UV was one of the pieces of the installer though. But yeah, Python and Git Bash are Windows best friends.
Yeah, it sounds like there are some no-goes there to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And Dosi, you were working on a few transactions, so you've been working on node create, schedule create, and Ethereum transaction. You sent me a review request for Ethereum transaction. Are the other ones also coming along? Are those to review or where
Yeah,
are you with them?
everything is ready for review. You can check it, and I will be thankful if you do this these days because
Okay, yeah.
the other schedule transactions are ready, and the node transactions also, but I cannot put them on PR because it will be an ugly one because they are like
Yeah, they
10,
build on
15 times.
themselves.
Yes.
Okay, great. So those are important.
So
Is
yeah,
it worth explaining briefly like the logic with them, or you think it's okay to just read the pull request?
like for the Ethereum transaction or for all of them.
Yeah, just if you could give like a 2-minute rundown for each of them.
Okay, like the Ethereum transaction, it depends on you to create the transaction bytes that are signed by your private key, and then you run it. Like the Ethereum transaction is used in relays. You can see there is JavaScript, and soon there will be a Go one. So the idea of the relay um, is to be used like every EVM tool. Like you can use it on MetaMask. Like on MetaMask, you want to send money, receive, or other things. So you just set up the relay, and then you use MetaMask as if it is an Ethereum based tool. So I don't know if I explained it very well.
It sounds interesting. Sounds like a good one. I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
So yeah, you can check about the relay, and the Ethereum transaction is a key thing for it, but using it in the SDK is not the best thing, like a user to use it. It so it is okay, but you have to manually make and build the transaction, and then you get the bytes and send it to the Ethereum transaction, and then it executes. So yeah, you can see in the test there is a function get call data, I think, and it builds the transaction, and then we send the transaction to the Ethereum transaction. And yeah, so you can check it, but it is something like this. Do you have any questions
No,
about?
I think I'll read through it and I'll let you know.
Okay, so the next thing is the schedule transactions. Um, for example, you want um, to schedule a transaction for later execute. So you say schedule create transaction, then you set the transaction you like to be executed at a certain time, like you can say a month later, a minute later, or something like this. And it is, it's that, like you just schedule it for the future. Um, Also, there is schedule sign that, for example, use cases when there is a transaction you like to schedule and it has multiple signatures and everyone can sign it using the schedule sign. And then um, when all the signatures are collected, then it executes automatically. So the schedule create has like um, two states. You can wait for the transaction to expire and then to execute it, like clear schedule. And then there is when you collect all the signatures, then it automatically executes. I think I didn't explain this very well. I can try again if you want.
No, that's good. Thanks for explaining. I mean, the high level overview really helps to get started on it.
Okay.
So one question I had, so once you complete the node create and the schedule create and the Ethereum, you say you have other transactions that are ready for node and for schedule. Does that mean the next step is you'll be doing something different? Or are there
Um,
node and schedule transactions to do?
so I locally I have the schedule info query, the schedule delete transaction, schedule sign transaction. Um, I'm looking them on the issues. If you want, I can share my screen. So okay.
Yep, can see that.
Yeah, so I have all the schedule ones, but first I want to merge the schedule create, then the schedule info, and then after this the schedule delete and schedule sign. Then this freeze transaction, it actually freezes the network. Like you can do it on solo. So you just when you execute this transaction, the network freezes and it doesn't work. So it is not a usual transaction to be used.
Yeah, where did you find that one from? That one's is that
What?
is that on the list of Hiero services that there are?
Yeah, like in the other SDKs, it is there. I
Yeah.
mean, for just in case if an admin wants to freeze a network, or I don't know. I mean, I I won't be creating much detailed examples for it because uh, I mean there is only like educational one that says yeah, you can freeze it, you can do it this way, but I mean I don't think it is practical to be used. Like uh, I'm not sure why a casual user will want to do this. So yeah, or the other so more specific transactions are the node create, node update, and node delete because you also can run them on solo only. So you can create new nodes, but of course you don't have the admin privilege to do this on testnet, mainnet, and so on. So yeah, the node create doesn't work on local node, so you must be using solo to add nodes. So these transactions are also not very well tested, and there is just an example to explain how it works, but not in much detail. So yeah, this PRNG transactions just returns random number from the network. So yeah, I have done it also. I will soon make a PR about it. And yeah,
Yeah, congratulations. You're going super fast, very extensive. Looks like you're also able to tackle lots of different things.
Yeah, thank you. And now I'm currently working on a custom fee limit, and it is for the topic submit message. So when we upgraded the protobus, I think I will go through the everything. So like topic create, topic info, and topic update, and add the new fields and remove the deprecated ones. And I'm almost done with it, and I'm almost done with the account create account info query and account update for the same procedure. And maybe by Friday I will be ready with them all, and maybe some of them I will put on PR. And yeah, I can make an issue for the token fields, like token create, token info query, and the token update, and I can let some community user do this.
Yeah, so that was going to be one of my questions. Have you come across, I mean, you've gone through the code base extensively. Have you come across any issues or something that we could add for the new starters? Or just something
Yeah,
to
like
keep an eye open?
there is excuse me, here I was working on the schedule sign, so I will open it on the PR. Just wait a second. Like after the schedule create transaction, I added a build transaction proto function in every transaction. So let's say topic create. So here we have the build proto body function that returns the proto body of the transaction, the current transaction, and then the build transaction body just calls this function, then calls the build base transaction body from the transaction class, then set the field and return it to be executed. So I think after the build proto body function, the build transaction body function could be removed. I mean, it could be in build base transaction body. So I'm not sure if I explain it well, but I will try to open the transaction. So yeah, here in the base schedule body, we just create. Oops, no. Ah, I need to open it in the. Wait. So here. Yeah, there is build base transaction body function that sets everything a transaction needs for every transaction, and then we return the body, and in the specific transaction we set the specific transaction of the transaction body, and then send it to the consensus node, if this makes sense. Can you?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea is here to call self proto. Oh, so wait. So here we have for every function have build proto body, and then I think we can remove this function by doing this in the base one, if this makes sense.
Yeah, because some of the content is like redundant.
Yeah, because like we build the proto body, then we build the base transaction body, then we set it and return it, and we can do this step. We can do it in the base transaction body function, I think.
Okay, so that's maybe one issue.
Yeah,
I think if you see any good issues like that, it would be great to add them in. I've been adding some, but because I've been focused more on examples and documentation and things for these last few weeks, the it's not too if you already have like some experience with like the coding side of things, it's maybe not as stimulating.
I will create an issue for this. I think like the new starters, they could, but I prefer to give it to someone like Manish or like
Yeah.
some guys that have a little bit of experience in the SDK.
Yeah. Manish has made a few merge PRs already.
Yeah, so something like this. The other issues like there are some inconsistencies in some files. Um, like the topic, um, for example, there aren't the type hints. I didn't see the this PR. Uh, I'm not sure here we.
It was focused on tokens, and then if other files needed them because of that, some of them were typed. So I think some of them would, but probably not all of them.
Yeah, okay, like I will check this later. I will check it, but for
Yeah, no,
example, there could be added in topics because topic. Sorry.
type hinting for topic.
Yeah, because there are some inconsistencies. Like the topic info is might be okay. I'm not sure, but like with the pile linting and
Yeah,
everything, it is not the best. So yeah, maybe we
yeah,
can split it.
definitely. In the future, we need to fix not just type hint, but fix some of the types that we have.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the PR that you mentioned is a really big one. So I think I'll rebase that one. I would appreciate trying to move that one quickly because any change impacts it again, right?
Yeah,
It affects so many files. So yeah,
I
I
agree.
have to rebase that one and rebase that one.
I agree. It is annoying. So
Yeah.
yeah, uh,
I don't know how you found the change log because on one hand it's great. It makes it easier to review PRs. You don't need to add like a long description. You can just change the change log and it's clearer to read. But on the other hand, every single change log change sometimes requires a rebase if you've put
yeah,
it on, the top.
yeah.
So
Like this is so annoying, but
yeah,
I'm I'm still not really sure which is better. So you,
yeah.
uh, I mean, you add the information on the change log, you can add it on the PR. So I'm not really sure we gain something from the change log.
I mean, if you write pull request, if you write blog posts, or if you have to detail a new update, it's so difficult without the change log, and it's inaccurate. You go back, you have to go back through all of the recent changes for the last 2 weeks, and
Yeah,
not.
like copy paste the PR descriptions.
But even then, the PR description might not be good, so you have to infer what actually happened and the reason for it, and
Yeah, okay. Okay.
but related to that, so I need some help with reviewing or approving some of like well, we have a lot of documentation updates from a lot of community members. So it's actually been great. I made a list of everything that's changed. So in these pull requests, we have a new testing guide or an improved testing guide, an improved rebase guide, an improved setup guide. So we have lots of those things. Akshat is also working on the integration test with deprecated variables. I don't know whether to merge them in because it's just documentation. But if I could get a second opinion on that, that would be good.
Okay.
There's a lot of pull requests, and some of these are new starters. So I don't want to lock them in with having an approved PR or something like that.
Yeah, okay, I will check them. Like
Yeah,
the
I'll keep chipping away at it, so like only if you're able. But yeah, I don't have too much time during the week, more on the weekends. And then the other thing, oh yeah, so I wanted to mention that Hendrik, I was discussing with Hendrik in a community call, and we were discussing how whether it's good to have more community members helping to give feedback on people's PRs. So some of the reviews I do is like, please rebase, please update your changelog, or you have a typo here. But also just think I have to research the aspects in their codes, and all of this requires sometimes quite a lot of research. So one of the things that we were suggesting is that community members are actually able to comment on the PRs, other community members, and they're able to share their thoughts on it. Okay, so you have a typo here, this bit doesn't work, this is incorrect, the syntax here is wrong, please change it to this. So I just wanted to say that even if you're not a committer or a maintainer, you are able to provide feedback to pull requests. And if you are looking to build up your skills to give feedback to pull requests, that's something that you are technically able to do and you are welcome to do. I haven't expanded the contributing MD to say that. But that would be my opinion. I don't know, Dosi or Angelina, what you think of that. Users are able to do that already. But is that something that would be good for the project, do you think?
maybe like there could be a rule or something that you should be like 99% sure you're writing correct feedback. I mean, something like this, because for the rebase ones and these changelog issues and something like this, I think it will be perfect because they could catch each other mistakes. But like, so I'm now on second thought, uh, I'm I'm not really sure how this can fail, because if someone writes an incorrect comment, we can just correct it. So yeah, for the basic problems, it will be perfect. So yeah, maybe it's a good idea.
Nanji, what do you think?
For basic issues, I think it's fine. Anything more complex, I think it would be a good idea to maybe put a group together of people that are able to provide feedback, just so that if someone, let's say they provide feedback, this person goes to apply it to their code, they realize that this wasn't the right thing to apply, and now they have to go back and undo whatever it is they may or may not have done. And so I think in those kinds of instances, for more complex issues, it would be a good idea to just have maybe like 2 or 3 people, a small group put together, everybody, like everyone from a different time zone. Like, for example, you have somebody from CST, you have somebody from PST, you have someone on the Eastern time, just person from every time zone, just to kind of go in and go over and evaluate feedback on more complex issues. But I think in general, for lower level issues, I think that would be a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that sounds nice. Maybe one day we can build up to that. Okay, anything else you guys want to add to the conversation today?
Just a quick question. My audio cut out in the beginning of this for the issue with the Hiero SDK, the link that you had posted earlier. So their biggest issue is that it's not running on Windows, or is it just the path isn't resolving correctly on Windows?
The path, so with the generate proto, the path isn't generating correctly, but we have a PR open for that.
Okay.
And the test suite wasn't working using
Okay.
UV, but we've got a fix for that as well. So
Okay.
I think based on the issues that we had this week, I think we have PRs to resolve them. And
Okay.
some of them are merged. So we should be fine with that. So anything else would be like new issues. We didn't
Okay.
get any feedback from the Hiero Discords, and we didn't get any feedback from the Hiero Discord these couple of weeks, but those Discords do exist. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm just reminding people that they are able to ask on there and also open issues and things.
Okay. If there's anything else that comes up regarding the Windows issues, just let me know. I'll take a look into it if need be.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Of course. But other than that, I'm good to go.
Okay, should we end here? Everybody said what they want to say. Yeah. Okay, so in which case, if you are able to attend, there is the office hour next week, but that is after working hours. So that's kind of optional as well. Other than that, there's the same call in 2 weeks' time. So see you then if you are able to, and thank you very much for attending. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.